In this video, we're going to configure the backup set so we can run our very first backup. This is the fourth step in the installation process, and in the previous videos, we have installed the backup server, configured storage targets, and added the sources we want to backup data from. So in this step, what we do is we configure the details of our backup set. As a recap, the backup set helps group multiple sources together so that backup data is grouped by backup properties, like where the backup is saved, how frequently the data is backed up from the selected sources, incremental or full backup, and other configuration details. Now, before we configure the backup set, I'll head over to the schedule plan to define the backup intervals and the frequency of full and incremental backups. So I'll go to schedule plan, click on add schedule, and over here I'll name the schedule as production backups. I'll select daily, and in this instance I will select Sunday to be the day of full backups, and other days it can auto detect should it be a full or an incremental backup. Then we click on save and head over to the backup sets. To start configuring the backup sets, click on the configure icon, and as I can see, the 7 steps of the process are visible right here, and I can move between them by directly clicking on the navigational elements. So let's go with the first one, which is selecting the sources we want to back up. In this instance, I want to back up both my Windows and my Linux file systems, which I've added as sources in the previous video. Let me go to the second step, which is asking me where the data should be stored. As I can see, the data is already locked in, as in a previous video I chose production NAS to store my backup data. I can see tape scan as an editable field, and unless and until you're using tape drives, this detail can be left to the default value. It's important, however, to click the button called Add Configuration below. Give it a quick minute. And now let's go to the third step, which is the backup staging. I'll preserve the default values here, as backup staging is needed only when you're using tape medium, and since we are not using tapes in this configuration, let's skip the step and go to backup how. It contains performance and timing parameters and is useful when you wish to optimize network utilization while moving large volumes of data. I'll keep the default values right now, but do note that Zmanda is capable of running enterprise-wide terabyte scale backups. For high volume scenarios, you may want to fine tweak these selections. Alright, let's click on update and move to backup when. This is where we select the schedule plan we just created and click on update. Now let's go to backup now, and as the name suggests, you can either trigger an immediate backup or activate the backup set so that going forward, it triggers automatically as per the schedule plan. In this particular instance, let me run an immediate backup to test the configuration. And notice it's running the backup and we are taken to the monitor page. Here, I can see the one-time full backup has been successfully completed, signaling the backup set is correctly configured. We are now ready to activate the backup set. So let's head over back to the backup set section, click on the configure icon, and then select backup now. And then click on the red button, which is titled backup set activation. Once backup set is active, the red play button will turn green. You can also confirm the active status by going back to the backup sets page and noticing the power icon has turned green, indicating the backup set is active. And with this, your data is being safely backed up. In the next video, we'll talk about restoring data. Talk soon.